Ladies and gentlemen, our next fight of the evening is a catchweight professional competition. Fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 85 kg, with a fight record of 2-0, representing Pan Italia from Milan in Italy, Giacomo Pala! And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 85 kg on his debut, representing Team Elite of South Sea, Craig Daly!
First professional bout of the evening sees Giacomo Pala from Clan Italica, 2 wins, 2 losses, take on Craig Daly from Team Elite Southend, making his debut. Now Pala, what we saw last time from Clan Italica with Milano was very good ground defence, Pierre. So as we said, he's had 2 wins, but I think the 2 losses were his most recent fights, weren't they?
Yeah, I tell you what impresses me about Giacomo Pala. He grows with each fight, even in his losses. And I tell you what, this is a guy that is dedicated to the sport. Now, for me, Daly is a relative unknown. However, he trains with TSG, so you know what type of camp they're coming from there. Now, Daly's going to have to keep those hands up. Pala, inside leg kick. Left hook. Pala looking very dangerous very early on here in the first.
Yes, good stuff from Pala, and as we saw again, that inside leg kick be so devastating. It also takes your man off balance. It makes his mind wander, and you saw as the mind wandered, the left hook landed.
Another thing that I like to say about Giacomo, I tell you what, he has definitely put some time into the gym. No longer is that soft midsection and the small muscles. He's coming in, he's taking this seriously, and he looks diesel here tonight.
That's right, but that said, so does Daly. And again, we've mentioned before, making your debut, whether they're wins or losses, when you're against a man with 4 fight experience, your camp must have faith in you and must think you're ready for this, because he's still against a guy that has known what he's gone through 4 times.
Now, like I said, Daly's camp is headed by Daniel Brazotta. Everybody knows who that is. That's TSG's head coach. They're a mainstay here at UWC. They have champions in Walter Gahadza and also staff Crazy Bear Economy. So these are the type of people that he's training with on a daily basis.
Looking for the ground and pound.
Now the crowd's getting behind Daly at the ground and pound. However, nothing really landing cleanly. You see Paula controlling the distance and the range by using that closed guard. And when he gets in trouble, he just grabs the head.
And again, you've got to be so careful. When you're making your debut, you might be getting carried away. You can offer that arm to a more experienced man and pay for it.
Now, when we were talking about the muscles of Paula, you just have to remember they have to do double the cardio because it takes more oxygen to feed the machine, especially when you have bigger muscles.
Oh, but that left hook lands on Daly again from Paula. He's got to be careful of that. Locks his man up.
Daly went for that headlock throw. However, Paula immediately gets a 50-50. He's got Daly pressed up against the cage. Paula looking for a leg ankle pick there. Daly brings him right back up, back into jockeying for position.
Yeah, the knee attempts from Paula, which he's in good position for, but neither was effective, to be honest. And so far this first round, it's been a tough debut for Daly. It's been a quick learning curve, hasn't it?
Yeah. Paula was very explosive, actually caught him on the button with that left hook and some other punches in that combination. And he's now pressing the action with the short, choppy little knees. Big power there by Paula trying to reverse his man strictly on strength alone. Going for a possible headlock. Now look at this here. Paula immediately takes that outside leg, reaping the inside, the leg of Daly. Good move there.
And Daly expending a lot of energy in these attempts to get his man to the canvas. And again, when you're making your debut, it's not just about cardio, is it? It's about all that adrenaline, the nerves, the build-up. It can leave you.
Exactly. When we train in the gym, we call that nervous energy. That nervous energy, it doesn't do anything. It goes nowhere, so it doesn't have a purpose. So his corner is going to tell him, hey, you know, you've taken some shots. You know, oh, good double leg there by Daly. Paula on his back.
And he needs to capitalize on this now, Daly. He's got good position, as you said, posturing up now.
Now, with Daly, Daly brings that arm back, which allows Paula to be able to push the arm back and sink the shoot the hips up high. What I'd like to now look at this. He's going for a triangle. From a triangle, you could go armbar, omoplata. There's so many submission attempts he could have. However, saying that, he opts to go back to closed guard. Now, with the punches, like I was saying, Daly, I'd like to see him throw some hammer fists because instead of rearing back, which allows Paula to get his hand or arm in the crook, which he's done there again, which feeds into that knee in the crease of the elbow, which feeds into the triangle, which feeds into the setup for the arm bar.
Yes, Daly has to be careful, but he's done a good job so far in this first round of his debut against an experienced and we think clever opponent, so all credit to Daly here.
Paula looking to switch out the hips. Paula should go for an underhook, try to go out the back door, maybe take the back of Daly. However, Daly does look very strong. Good posture there, good base.
But again, as you said earlier on his previous attempt, very little has got through actually cleanly though from Daly.
Once again, triangle setup being applied there. And Daly slips out of that, looking for the omoplata. Now, the reason that didn't work for Paula is when he went for the triangle choke, Daly was able to extend. If he would have did what we call making a basket, the leg that comes across the shoulder, you grab that with the opposite hand. So as Daly tries to posture up out of that, he has to carry you with him. Whereas he didn't, so he was able to back right out of that triangle attempt.
But it was the attempt by Daly. So how do you see that round overall? Do you see Daly edging that because of the attempts and the way he waited patiently and got his takedowns?
For me, I call it a 50-50 because the stand-up definitely I have for Paula. Paula did some nice submission attempts of his own. Daly, however, did come back with the takedown, good double leg, and then try to control that top position. Now, what I would say for both fighters, second round, let's see more output. I'd like to see Giacomo try to keep it on the outside, try to do more stand-up. For Daly, Daly looks strong in that top position on the ground. So let's see another takedown, strong takedown like you did there in the first. Heel hook, Daly, I tell you what, was a little bit sloppy there and had to actually grab onto the fence to prevent that submission attempt. So yes, cardio you feel is playing a factor for both fighters. Now it comes down to who wants it more.
That's right, and Alex looking at them closely again because last time, even though he's in this position, he didn't feel that Daly was working enough to keep them down there. And as I said, the big difference between the rounds for me is Pala's response from his back. It's not as clever or as canny as it was in the first round.
Right, more so than hunting for those submissions, he's defending. And Daly, even though he's not really hitting, and again, now he needs to grab the shin, make the basket. There you go. Close the window by swiveling to the opposite direction and make that completion. However, he able to turn. Now, Daly was able to get out of that submission by swiveling and turning, and he's wide back. Also, you have the sweat that's also factored in, and he was able to get out of that. How do you score it, Malcolm?
Well, Pierre, for me, more importantly, we're talking about a submission attempt that came within the last 10 seconds of the round. Outside of that, when you look across the full round, what did Pala do? I mean, it was a sloppy attempt after the kick from Daly at the start, but he was the aggressor at the start, he's the aggressor at the end. For me, he's been the aggressive sort of man right the way through the fight. He's not had major success, but when you look at what's coming back, I can't see what's coming back from Pala.
Now it's interesting to see the posture here in the corner in between the rounds. Look at this here. We have Pala on his feet and Daly looking very weathered, sitting down back up against the cage. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Pushing the arm back, he's hunting for that triangle. He's been doing that through the first round, through the second, and now here in the third. He's got to change up his game plan.
And again, standing them up, to me, says a lot about this fight. The fact that Daly has not been as effective as he wants, hence the referee standing them up. But again, Pala, since round one, no real submission attempts from his back and his guard. And you just feel that once Daly becomes a more proficient boxer, he'll get far more success because he's doing the right thing. At the moment, when it's upright, that he just hasn't got quite the technical snap to make it really pay.
Now you see Daly has Pala's back up against the fence. It looked like Pala is, for a second there, it looked like he was going to try to sit down into guard. And that's that's just another sign of how tired he is. Now both fighters throwing leather here. Body lock there by Pala. Can he make the takedown? No, he can't. He opts for possible front headlock. Dirty boxing there by Pala. Daly's back up against the cage.
Now here's where the knee, it's there, it should have come earlier. Too long to set that knee up. And again, you feel he's failed to capitalise on the inexperience of Daly, and that was one of the points there. How long before that knee came in? And Daly was wide open there for that knee. And that for me is the icing on the cake for Daly.
Sealed the deal. I believe that now Pala's going to need a submission or a knockout to win this. Daly, again, even though he hasn't landed flush shots, he's been the more aggressive fighter, and he's been the fighter that has been, throughout the rounds, pressing the action.
And Pierre, we shouldn't be too harsh on him again. It is his debut against, as we saw, a man from a good camp with experience. So he will learn immensely from this, and I feel it's a creditable debut, which is going to be a win.
Against, like you said, the more experienced and the more seasoned fighter. Short little body shots there. Daly administering to Pala. Pala looking to clinch the head, try to keep him from posturing up and throwing those heavy shots downward in that vicious ground and pound. Now, what I like about Daly, Daly's pushing Pala up against the fence, not allowing him any room to move, and he's still continuing with those hammer fists, the punches over the top.
And you feel the success has given him a second win. Both men were tied at the beginning of this round, but that success has given Daly the ability to keep going, and you can see now he's just beginning to feel the pace once more. He looked to his corners to say, I'm feeling it now. That was obvious there. But
that's why your corner's there. Your corner is going to spur you on, give you some inspiration, and he's inspired there with that hammer fist. They just barely missed. Pala looks to be in trouble.
And there you have it. Now, as I said, overall, a very assured debut from Daly, but you must question the more experienced man's tactics, surely, Pierre, because we saw again, like his Italian teammate, he had the ability.
Yeah, and you could tell just by the way he was swiveling his hips, the way he was climbing the legs up for submission attempts, the technique is there, but once again, you got to have the gas in the tank to be able to pull those moves off. not just the first half of the first round, but through your first, second, and third round. One thing that we're not going to question about Daly is his aggressiveness, is his willingness to go into the deep waters, and like you said, very impressive debut here for the TSG fighter.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner by unanimous decision. And please show your appreciation for our runner-up, Giacomo Paola. Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout is a professional competition. Fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 205 pounds, with a fight record of 3-1-0, representing Antonio's Gym in Lithuania, and his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 205 pounds, with a fight record of 1-0-0, representing Team Elite at Southend-on-Sea, Mark Carr!
So, Remigius Reblis from Antonio's Gym, Lithuania, 3-1-0 on his record. Against local hero Mark Kosh, 1-0 from Team Elite Southend-on-Sea. And you could hear the response as he entered the cage, Pierre.
Now, you made a mental note earlier that we have seen Kosh before, and if he stays true to form, he's going to come out guns blazing.
Yes, he responded to the crowd last time, and we saw then why he was a crowd favourite, all action style.
But you have to be careful. Sometimes if you give it everything that you have in the first and you don't seal the deal, you still may have a second and third round to go.
That's right. Well, he's got a huge height advantage.
And just like that, he's following up, punching straight down the middle, and this gentleman is out for the count, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, my name is Mr. Kosh.
Well, we said, Pierre, we know how he likes to start. He likes to start hard and fast. He's confident in the power. He's telling you, look, it's that right hand. And he didn't waste time. We didn't get a chance to see what happens if someone absorbs that and then comes back at you. Because once again, he's done the business, and now he is 2-0. You can't argue, obviously. We will have more talking points as his career develops. But you can't fault what he did there.
like I've heard before, you don't get paid overtime in mixed martial arts. He wants to get in, get the job done, and get out. Now, this is what I love right here. Kosh knocked the man out not 5 seconds before, but he's going over there checking on his well-being. I dig that, Malcolm.
Well, you can see also, Pierre, why he's such a fan favourite. You love a knockout artist. That's 2-0 for this man. As I said, I'll be interested to see how his career develops as he goes on throughout his professional career. But what a great start. You can't beat that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner by way of ground and pound knockout in 10 seconds of the first round. Make some noise for Mark Kosh! And please show your appreciation for our gallant runner-up, Remigius Robles! Ladies and gentlemen, our next fight of the evening is a catchweight semi-professional competition. Fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 90 kilograms, with a fight record of 1-0, representing Lawrence Sandham's Black Belt Academy in Chelmsford, Tim Baker! Ladies and gentlemen, and his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 90 kilograms, on his debut, representing TSG Fight School in Southend-on-Sea, Dan Kane!
So once more we have a semi-professional bout. Tim Baker, one loss from Lawrence Sandham's gym in Chelmsford against Dan Kane from the TSG Fight School Southend, making his debut. And so again, Pierre, a big show for two men with only one fight between them. And we must say, for each and every fighter, it takes immense courage and dedication just to get into the cage.
Yeah, and not only physically, but also mentally, because I tell you what, it's a very, very long and lonely walk from the back dressing room here to the cage.
And Cade, as we said, making his debut, just the one loss on Baker's record, so you want to put that straight. And a good leg kick replied to the inside leg from Cade, and then two very good shots through the channel. Even though he had a tight guard, Baker, Cade got through. And he's got the slight height advantage. He's nice and upright as a boxer.
And I'll tell you what, Kane, I've seen him train there at TSG. He works hard. He makes sure, but saying that, Daniel Brazota makes sure that all of his guys that come out here at UWC, that they're all ready to go. And I'll tell you what, it's showing here because the crisp boxing there, good inside leg kick also by Dan Kane.
Well, how many times, Pierre, have we said upright? A lot of the time the kick is off the rear leg, the right leg swinging through, which brings you in the range of the punches. Twice now Cade has chopped forward. And oh, he's out. He's looking at the referee. The referee had no doubts whatsoever. I was just about to say that Cade showed maturity in using the lead leg to chop to the inside of the leg and keep that range. And what was that range for? That boxing. And what did that boxing do? Knock his man out. That's maturity, as you said. That's that training. So many times they switch, they bring the leg round, brings you in the range of the punches. His 2 kicks were both to the inside of the leg, but more importantly from his lead leg, which meant takes his man off balance. The classy boxing comes in, and we saw the result in the most emphatic fashion.
A lot of good points, and I tell you what, the fact that this kid is at such a young stage in his career, I mean, the only way he could go was up. Look for big things out of this young man. Very impressive and beautiful punching, beautiful boxing here.